sending out good vibes from the rock-bound coast of Maine. We are in the trees. Croptober is here in Maine and nationwide. What a beautiful growing season it has been. Myself, I have been hard at work taking plants down from, October 3rd was my first plant that came down. My Galactic Jack finishes nice and early. It has been a great year for sun-grown medicine here in Maine. Lots of sun, relatively dry conditions. I mean, we did have a little bit of drought in places, from what I heard. My father down east said that his well was getting dangerously low. But the dryness also meant that we didn't have to worry as much about fungal pathogens. So there's a silver lining there. Speaking of dry conditions, we had a dry spell this summer like many people haven't experienced, and some of us haven't experienced in a while. This has meant that market prices are up for flower and extract here in Maine, and I've heard pretty much nationwide, as people in Michigan as well as Washington State have told me the same thing. Now, people know that summertime usually means a bit of a dry spell, but nothing like this summer. While this can be frustrating for those who want to get some quality flower from a grower that maybe they have a lot of respect for, and then they go to a storefront and they're sold clean out, this can also be a good thing for growers and producers who are now getting what they might report as a more fair price for their flowers and extracts. This market can be fickle, so I'm sure there'll be a back and forth over this over the years. Or maybe not, because over 3 years after the voice of the people unanimously spoke in favor of it, adult use is here in Maine. And you may have seen that there's been lots of back and forth about this on Instagram. Many of us growers are pretty concerned about the potential of the medical program disappearing altogether, and with it, corporate cannabis taking over here in Maine, like it has done in several other states. I should mention that while the occasional disclosure of In the Trees podcast stance on this may happen in witty quips online, we're committed to trying to stay as bipartisan as we can possibly be about it. Even though we're comfortable sitting in a room with people who might think differently about gardening practices, strain selection, etc., we recognize that not everyone can sit in the same room and talk with someone who has a different opinion than them. And it's so hard keeping stuff like this under wraps. We've been hard at work putting something together that's very, very big. It's really great. And I know that the Maine cannabis community, as well as the national and even worldwide cannabis community at large, will enjoy what we have in store for you. So hang tight. We got something coming down the pipeline. You're going to love it. Frass Valley is an organic superworm-based garden amendment that I personally have used a bunch in my garden. It has a balanced NPK ratio and a lab-tested level of keton at 16.9%. This means that it aids your plant in building its immune system, increasing beneficial microorganisms and mycorrhiza in your soil, while also discouraging soil-borne insects who might be looking to prey on your garden. If you are looking for an amendment that will help you grow strong plants, check them out at Frass Valley on Instagram or go to their website frassvalley.com to order some today. Listeners of the show receive 10% off their orders by using the code words InTheTrees at checkout. Wait till you see what Frass Valley's Superworm Frass can do for your garden. Lastly, I want to present a clip from Adam Ochang from the hilarious YouTube videos Temp Tales by Ochang Comics about something that is dwindling with each new generation: the Maine accent. This is part of what will be a future episode, but I thought it would be good to air it now as something to think about in conjunction with adult use going into effect. We have a culture here in Maine, a way about us. We always have, and I truly hope we always will. Personally, I've always enjoyed hearing different dialects when I've been traveling and whatnot. I like picking up on different sayings and seeing different mannerisms when I travel to other states and countries, and Maine is one of those places where these can be quite distinct, depending on where you are and who you're spending time with. I hope you enjoy this piece from Adam O'Chang, and long may the Maine accent and some of our ways stick around here in what the natives called Norumbega. If you haven't seen any of O'Chang comics on YouTube, type Temp Tales into the search bar and be prepared for some hilarious comic parodies of Maine life. I want to say thanks to Adam O'Chang for this great discussion, and we look forward to releasing more from the great interview that we had with him on a future episode. Any recommendations for listeners tuning in about where they might find some characters like Green Bud Kelly or, to talk with here in Maine or some towns?
I mean, back in the day, everybody had a Maine accent. And you listen to the old Maine accents, from like the 100 years ago, and it's a totally different accent than it is now, even the Maine accent we have. I mean, we had some really, really kind of beautiful Maine accents. It almost sounded almost British or something. And if you look at a map, there's all kinds of different Maine accents. And somebody actually, I think some linguist or somebody who specializes in dialects or accents looked at all the different accents and they divided up into there's like a York County kind of like northern I don't want to say northern Massachusetts. I don't like it when I say that, but that region. There's a down east accent of obviously there's a rustic accent from up there, but there's sort of a central Maine. There actually is different types of Maine accents, but they're all being kind of they're all sort of disappearing, or they're all sort of mixing in with each other. And you notice I don't have a Maine accent, even though my family, my dad's side was here for hundreds of years. My dad had a Maine accent, but it always got stronger when he was talking to, the guy who fixes lawnmower and be like, "Oh, you want me to bring my lawnmower up?" We'd always make fun of him, but it was just sort of like, it just came out more when you're talking to somebody who's also got a Maine accent or even a thicker Maine accent.
It's so weird that happened with you and your dad. That has happened with me and my 12-year-old son.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, why are you talking to my buddy like that?
Yeah.
Because I don't know, it just came out. Or, you're ordering lumber. Why are you talking like it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it does happen. And it just does happen. Like, it's not really a put on, I don't think. Mm-mm. But I mean,
it's a feeling. It's a vibe. It's a, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Maine accent is really at this point it's a working class accent for the most part. If you talk to a lot of tradesmen who grew up here, they probably have a Maine accent. Lobstermen and people who work in logging or mills or whatever, you'll still hear a Maine accent. I always thought maybe a part of it was I traveled, but the other part is my mom didn't have a Maine accent, and so I picked up her accent. It's more of a sort of neutral American accent. But it's really, if you go to rural areas, but I mean, here on the coast, it's really disappearing fast because it's just being gentrified at such a rapid clip. Rockland used to just be like freaking Rockland. But now it's just become so expensive to buy housing here. Locals just can't afford to, so they move further and further away from the coast. So it's harder to find definitely on the coast of Maine. But I think it's sort of with globalization and the internet, I really think that we're going to see these accents disappear more. And it's sad because, these are such an important part of our identity. In the Trees podcast is proudly sponsored by the Maine Craft Cannabis Association. The MCCA is a diverse group of businesses and activists committed to supporting an authentic craft cannabis industry in Maine. Their motto, People, Place, and Plant, represents their focus on fighting for craft Maine-grown businesses through their legislative work in Augusta.
The MCCA's social activism supports all Mainers' legal protected access to the plant. Check them out on Facebook and Instagram by searching for Maine Craft Cannabis Association, and please show your support to this extremely valuable organization. Thank you for tuning in, and I want to give a special shout out to @OGMedicinalHerbs on Instagram, who won a contest that we did a while back, a pack of seeds from In the Trees podcast. I also want to send some love out to People Under the Stairs Genetics for sending some amazing seeds to pass out to the next few guests of the show. Respect, People Under the Stairs. They're going to love those ones. And I want to send some love out to all the small farms growing fire herb here in Maine. We truly bring the heat, and it's looking more and more like the world is taking notice that we have a great locally grown cannabis community here. Let's keep doing what we're doing and representing our state as well as we can. Preserve Maine's craft growers. Please visit our website, InTheTreesPodcast.com, for bonus audio and video content, including more Stony stories, our well-loved blog, and behind-the-scenes features unaired on the show. In the Trees podcast is a labor of love, and our team is committed to providing you a quality show. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, or download us on Spotify. We want to deliver you more great audio and video content, and your support is greatly appreciated.